was in LA last year, I think, and never really thought about doing any kind of commercial before. I was always kind of I was always kind of too self-conscious or something. I didn't really know why I would do it. Some other people from Dior came and I met them in LA, and they were expressing how they wanted to do something new with the fragrance and the campaign, and something different and kind of slightly dangerous, and they were willing to collaborate a lot with who the photographer was, who was going to shoot the commercial, and yeah, and it all just suddenly seemed much more exciting, and I just really liked the people as well, so it kind of seemed like a good idea. I think Dior, like, in a very ridiculous way, I like the idea of being associated with French people. I don't know, there's something quite timeless and elegant about Dior, and I don't know, I just felt it felt like quite a big honor to be asked to be involved with it. And also everybody else who's associated with Dior, even now, I mean, it's a good group to be associated with. I started talking to Romain for a long time about the concept. Well, actually before that, I was talking to everybody at Dior, and I quite strongly felt that I wanted to work with Romain Gavras. I'd wanted to work with him for a long time before, and I couldn't really find a thing to do with him. And I got involved with that, and I remember bringing up his name, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know about Romain Gavras." Like it's maybe a little bit too far out there. As soon as everyone agreed to it, I started to think, wow, everybody wants to do something kind of on the same page. I mean, we're all thinking of doing something really different, because Romain's style is so violent, and from what I'd seen, and I was thinking, that doesn't really go with fragrance commercials. I wanted to do something different for me, just, I mean, regardless of anything else. I wanted to do, I felt like my career as an actor was going in a certain direction. I felt like working with Romain and also doing something which is quite mainstream, but also edgy. I think it kind of fitted into where I want my life to go. And so I started talking to Romain about what we could do with a lot of Dior had given us a lot of freedom to do kind of whatever we wanted, basically, and didn't want to make something kind of posy, like not very model-y. I mean, wanted to do something that had some anger to it and had a bite to it, and sexy as well. I mean, I didn't think that a lot of fragrance commercials, they have like a distance between the viewer and the people in the commercial, and I wanted to have something which was really visceral, and I think that's kind of Romain's style, and it seemed like the further we went when we were shooting, no one really ever stopped us. Yeah, no, I think the campaign definitely feels different. I mean, it doesn't feel too grown up. I mean, I think a lot of the advertising for Dior Homme before was quite classic, and this is, I think just Romain's style is very zeitgeisty. I mean, that's what I liked about him. He seems really, really of the moment, and his style really connects to young people at the moment. So hopefully it still will, yeah. We were emailing a lot, and we went through a ton of different music choices, and yeah, we were trying to develop a kind of character. We were talking about how can you have that attitude of young Jean-Paul Belmondo in a modern day context, which is impossible to do, but some of the elements that he kind of had when he was younger, or throughout his whole life, that kind of not giving a shit attitude, that's kind of, yeah, what we were trying to get with that. And I think that's kind of how Romain thinks as well, and Nan Golden. Like, yeah, so we were trying to capture that essence. The Dior Homme man is, I think, someone who's just a little bit wild. I mean, a little bit kind of does whatever he wants. He's a bit of a free spirit. Not really scared of anything, can kind of be whoever he wants to be at any time. Just someone who lives life on his own terms completely. Yeah, he's like the kind of guy who gets into fights in a tuxedo. It's like, I mean, hopefully anyway. Hopefully that's how people interpret it. Um, yeah, there's something innately elegant, and well, especially in people who, in foreign people's eyes about French people, but they kind of seem very classy, 100% of the time. And I think even though there's a lot of energy and the commercial's very visceral, it does still have very natural elegance to it, and I think that's very French. A lot of good memories. I mean, I turned up terrified. I mean, I've just always been so scared to do anything like this, and I just thought I'd be so self-conscious. And right from the first second, driving along the beach in Rockaway Beach, it's like just at 90 miles an hour in a tiny little BMW with the cameraman inside the car. I mean, it started off. I mean, everything was very fearless about it, and it kind of felt quite wild when we were shooting. As soon as I heard that she was the choice, I was like, done. I mean, no questions asked. I couldn't even believe she was doing it. And also, just the same thing. It's kind of, she doesn't seem like the typical person who you'd shoot a campaign with, especially like a massive campaign. I mean, it's brave. It's a brave choice. And it was kind of, yeah, she's very free-spirited and kind of fit in with the whole ethos of the campaign. I always really recognise the scent of London. Whenever I land there again, it's really, really, really familiar to me, and I really miss it when I'm away. No, really. Quite wild, hopefully pretty sexy. Something quite elegant but fast-paced about it, and quite visceral and powerful, I think. I've always been kind of obsessed with French cinema since I was really young. It's kind of what got me into cinema, like film as a whole, even before I was acting or anything. I watched a lot of Godard when I was younger, and then recently ODR. I've just kind of been. I watched The Beat That My Heart Skipped in New York when I was 19 or something, or 20. And it was just like, whoa. I mean, in a lot of ways, me and Roman were using that as a inspiration for the movie. That kind of gritty but very beautiful tone, which ODR does really well.